Last week I promised you the suitcase story. I know, I remember. I am a cat with an excellent memory and zero excuses. But I have been thinking, and I have decided, unilaterally, as I decide all things, that you are not ready for the suitcase story. The suitcase story requires context, emotional infrastructure, a foundational understanding of who I am, who he is, and how this arrangement came to be. Because here is what people get wrong about cats and their humans. They think the human chose the cat. Adorable. My name is Oliver, and this is the story of how I chose mine. It begins, as all great stories do, in chaos. I was 8 weeks old, small, temporarily inconvenienced by circumstances outside my control. I had been placed, through no fault of my own, in a foster situation. For those unfamiliar with the concept, a foster home is a transitional arrangement, temporary housing, a pit stop. You stay for a few days, you move on, you find your permanent situation. Very standard, very professional. I had a plan. I always have a plan. The plan was simple. Assess the location, maintain my independence, accept the food, avoid emotional entanglement, and move on in approximately 5 to 7 business days. I had done 0 of those things by day 2. But the plan was solid in theory. He opened the carrier door, and he did something I was not expecting. He sat down, on the floor, cross-legged, and he waited. He didn't grab for me, didn't make the noise, the pss, pss, pss noise that humans think is a password, but is actually just embarrassing for everyone involved. He just sat there, quietly, and let me decide. I stayed in the carrier for 11 minutes. I was gathering data, reading the room, conducting a thorough environmental assessment. He waited all 11 minutes. I came out on my own terms. I sniffed his knee first, then his hand. He didn't move. Then I walked across his lap, once, quickly, purely for investigative purposes, and I went to explore the apartment. He said, "Take your time, little guy." I noted that, filed it under promising. Over the next 48 hours, I conducted a full evaluation. Rigorous, comprehensive, divided into 4 categories. Category 1, the space. 1-bedroom apartment, adequate square footage, 2 windows with acceptable sun coverage, not ideal but workable. 1 bookshelf with climbable potential. The couch was slightly worn, which I interpreted as pre-softened, a point in his favour. Category 2, the noise level. He talked to himself sometimes, quietly. He played music, acceptable genres, reasonable volume. He laughed at things on his laptop, with a laugh that was more of a snort. I found this undignified but non-threatening. Category 3, the food. High quality, served promptly. He read the label every time. I didn't understand this yet, but I would come to recognize it as his ritual. Humans need rituals. I allowed it. Category 4, the most important category. How he treated me when he thought I wasn't watching. On day 2, I was sleeping behind the couch, a location I'd selected for privacy and strategic oversight. He came to check on me. He didn't wake me, he just looked, made sure I was okay. Then he left quietly and closed the kitchen light so it wouldn't disturb me. I was awake. I saw everything. He passed category 4. Day 5. The foster coordinator called. I heard it from the bedroom. I have excellent hearing. I hear everything. She said there was a family interested. A couple. Nice home, she said. Big space. They had adopted before. I listened to him respond. He said, "Oh, yeah, that sounds great for him." A long silence. Then he said, "Can I think about it? Just until tomorrow?" She said, "Of course." He hung up. He sat on the couch. He didn't turn on the TV. He didn't open his laptop. He just sat there in the quiet. I came out from the bedroom. I walked across the living room, slowly, deliberately, and I jumped up onto the couch, next to him. Not on his lap. Next to him. There is a difference, and it is important. He looked at me. I looked at the wall. But I stayed. The next morning, he called the coordinator back. He said, and I want to be very precise about the wording here, because wording matters. He said, "I think I'm going to keep him." Keep him. As if he had made the decision. I had been sitting next to him on that couch for 11 hours. He didn't keep me. I stayed. That was 3 years ago. He still reads the label on my food bag every morning. He still takes 9 minutes in the bathroom when he says 2. He still uses the wrong blanket to cover the couch and then acts surprised when I claim it. He has learned nothing. And yet, the windows still have good sun. The couch is softer now, 3 years of use, mine mostly. The bookshelf is fully conquered. He still turns off the kitchen light when I'm sleeping. He still waits for me to come to him. He never grabbed. He never forced. He just sat on the floor and let me decide. I decided. I would make the same decision again. I would never tell him that. My name is Oliver. I am 3 years old. I live in an apartment that I chose, with a human that I selected after a rigorous 5-day evaluation process. He thinks he rescued me. Let him think that. Next week, I promise this time, the suitcase. Subscribe. I've already written the opening line, and it's excellent.